I was woefully poor for ages. You know, when I first started my blacksmithing business, you don't talk about it.
No, of course not.
I'm not saying that I'm flying around in money right now, but back when I started, it was hand to mouth. And like there was times where, you know, going down to the servo to buy gas to light my forge was something I thought about.
All right, where are we? We're at Everly Works. Matt, can you introduce yourself for me, please, mate?
As you mentioned, my name is Matt, and I get to be a blacksmith at Everly Works here.
I'm sitting here with a very, very good friend of mine who is a full-time blacksmith. Can you introduce yourself for us, please, man?
Hey, name's Jacob McNamara. I'm 28. I've been doing this full-time now for about 3 years.
Not only get to be a blacksmith, but you are the blacksmith at Everly Works. So you own this place. Like, this is a big thing for the average dude to, especially such a baby like you.
Going on 32.
Going on 32.
In November.
To own something like this is massive. A lot of us want to be knife makers or bladesmiths full time. Like, give us a run back, all the way back to the start. How did you even start blacksmithing to get to this point?
So my first introduction to blacksmithing was like a lot of people. I did not realize this was the thing. For the first 20 years of my life, I had no idea that people were still heating up metal and hitting it.
No.
Like, I knew it was a thing as an abstract concept.
Yeah,
I didn't think that it was still happening. So the first time that the revelation came on was I was working a regular job. I had an electronics business. It was a family business.
All right.
I was a little bit restless. I wanted to get my hands dirty. So I made the decision. I'm like, well, whatever happens, I didn't think this was going to be a career change. I was just thinking, I want to do some night classes. I want to go and I want to get my hands on something.
Yeah,
you know?
I get that. Yeah.
So I rolled up to a TAFE open day and I came across Lindsay Cole, the blacksmithing, head teacher of blacksmithing at Ultimate. And he had this spread of stuff, like tools, really specific tools. He had these really funky little sort of
functional type art. Yeah, right.
So there was this spread of stuff. And I went, wow, you know, people are still doing this. I didn't even think of it.
That's crazy. Until you're in it, you got no idea.
And I fell in love. And then, what's not to fall in love with when you start seeing the machines? You know,
yeah.
The Blacksmith shop, the TAFE has a 300-weight Massey, and I think a lot of people would agree the Massey's just about the Rolls Royce of power hammers.
Yep.
You know, the industrial machine of the blacksmith. So yeah, we had a bit of a cruise around. I just went, yeah, this is for me. And then because I'm that sort of person, I'm a bit like I'm quite now. I was cruising around on the internet. Once I had this explosion in my brain, this bubble had burst. I got on the internet like pretty much that night, I reckon, and I started searching who was doing classes.
Yeah.
You know, where else can I? Because the TAFE didn't start for a couple of, maybe it might have been 6 weeks or 2 months or whatever.
Yeah, right.
So I'm like, oh, I need to go and do something. I need
Being
to
a bit ADD,
right
you had to do it there and
I
then.
just had to do it. I'd been inspired, and I'm off. I'm going down the hill, and it's getting faster and faster and bigger and bigger.
As you can see, it's my
You're
garage
28.
at home.
I thought you were older than that.
Nah, look, I was stressed and smokes.
Keep going.
And yeah, I left the military and didn't really want to go work for anybody, so I thought I'd start my own business, and the military helped me with going to do a course with another smith. At the time, was from Cessnock, Doug Mosley. I did a 10-day course with him.
Good old Doug, friend of the show.
Yeah. He's helped with building the ABA New South Wales. He's one of the members in that. So I did my course with him, and he basically kicked me in the butt to get things moving along and get things going. And from there, I've just taken it from there, making everything. And the foundation that he built me is what I've sort of become today.
Yeah, nice.
So, and then I found a luminary of the Australian knife making community.
Yeah.
Keith Flutter.
Uncle Keith.
Uncle Keith.
Yeah,
so
right.
I tracked him down.
Who better to start with?
Oh, I know. I gave him a ring. I said, mate, my name's Matt. I'm busting. Can we book in? And he was like, yeah, let's do it. So that's what it is. I went and made a knife with Keith as well. And that was I was off. I fell in love.
That's a good place to start.
Yeah. And
you're still friends. Keith still likes you, so you must have done all right.
It's one of the cool things. I went through TAFE, loved it, and then I decided, you know, because I was living in Sydney and there weren't a lot of opportunities for employment in Sydney.
Yeah, right. Oh, I bet.
So I was sort of forced to just start make and do.
Yeah, doing your own thing.
You either you make it work or you don't. And so I did. I started accumulating stuff. I hooked up with another illustrious member, Bruce Beamish. You know, he sorted me out.
Man,
with a
you did
power
start
hammer.
well.
Yeah, I know, right? He sorted me out with a power hammer, and I had this. And the first shop I had, you should have seen it. Like, so there's a few people have seen it. There's some photos floating around on the internet.
Right.
But it was little more than a sort of 2-car garage. I had a power hammer in there, low ceilings. It was not well ventilated. So when I was forge welding and I was doing a bunch of Damascus, you know, the flux is burning off, and the place would fill up with smoke.
Yeah, you spend the next 2 days like trying to breathe properly.
I'd spend half an hour forge welding, and then I'd spend 2 hours out the back waiting for the place to clear out.
I bet.
Which was fortuitous because I had to wait for the thing to cool down.
Yeah, perfect.
It worked beautifully.
And so, what does a blacksmith do nowadays? Like, from a guy in his workshop, what sort of work are you undertaking? Are you making things yourself and selling them, or are people asking you to build things for them? Tell us a bit about that.
Both. So I find that my business is more so garden tools and camping equipment. That's mostly what I've sort of been doing. I do custom orders here and there. I'm trying to not do them so much anymore. So I want more time to perfect my skills in what I'm doing. Whereas custom orders at a time were taking up too much of my time. So I've kind of canned those there, and I'm also just focusing on just getting my brand out there. I'm 3 years old, and I don't believe that my name is big enough out there, so I want to continue doing that and just, do the camping.
I don't believe there's ever, anyone's ever big enough. You can always do more to let people know who you are.
Oh, yeah.
Like, is there ever a too big? Massive jump to now, you now run Everly Works. For someone, like, the ultimate aspiration, there's no secret, I'm happy to say, and I always have, I ultimately want to end up a YouTuber that makes knives and does blacksmithing. Now, I'll never be a qualified blacksmith, or unlikely, I'd love to be, but with wife and children, I don't think I'll ever be able to go back to college and all that sort of stuff. But I love this industry, and this is sort of what I want to do and who I want to be. And I'd love to be able to live off that. Now, you've kind of gone further than just being a guy in a workshop supporting yourself and trying to get it going. You've actually now got staff and all that. So from this end of the industry, can you tell us a bit about that, what it's like to be at this top end?
It's really exciting. Like, the thing that I love about this place, every day you walk in and you get inspired. Like, you can't not. It's the industrial.
Even now, like, you don't get bored.
I don't get bored.
Yeah, wow, cool.
You know, you can come in, because even when you're not working, like when I have a day off, my friends all give me shit about this. When I have a day off, I come to work.
Yeah, that's
like,
awesome.
I don't have days off where I just don't do stuff.
Yeah, right.
I just, why would I?
Yeah, well, you're doing something you love for a living.
So I come in here, like, my idea of a day off is not getting on my computer and doing emails, because to get back on point, the reality of running a big business is you spend a lot of time doing back end stuff, you know, payroll, quoting, invoicing, all that sort of stuff. And I was lucky that I did a lot of that in my first incarnation when I was running the electronics business. So I took a bit of a business brain into it, and I think that has become really important, because as we've grown, we've been able to keep up with the growth. I know a lot of guys, friends of mine that start businesses, and like, the systems you start up really early are, even if it's just you, set up systems, put stuff in place.
It's crucial to later on.
Because you want to be able to hand that off. So, you know, for me, my short to medium term goal now is to be able to hand off admin and maybe get an office manager to be able to. And I want systems in place where I can just say to someone, when this happens, do X, Y, Z. When this happens,
of course, because it's a system.
This is the flow. So it's not every time you're custom solving a problem. It's just like, this is a routine. So I think that's the way my brain works. I like things to be systematic. I like things to be sort of packed up and neat. But I think that's helped the business grow.
Of course.
Because, it's really easy to get to a certain point, and then, you know, because your systems aren't there, things just fall over.
Yeah, right. And then you've got to try to build the system.
And it's much harder to do it after the fact.
The
other thing was, you know, you don't walk into the biggest shop in the land. You know, as I said, I start off in a 2-car garage, and you love what you do. And I think if you love what you do, your passion's going to come through it. You know, I haven't always made the most beautiful stuff in the world. You don't start off making the most beautiful stuff in the world.
No, of course not.
You've got to ramp up to it. And if you're loving it, you're going to spend more time doing it. Practice is practice, and that's what makes it work.
Yeah, very much so.
You know, you build relationships. I still get calls from people that I did jobs for 3, 4, 5 years ago, and they go, hey, you know, haven't had a yarn in a while, but what are you up to? And, you know, can you do you remember that set of shelves you made, or that bracket you made? And I'm like, no, I don't. But I remember the name. And
Of course, you can look it up and find your
you've got a
system. And,
relationship.
So you're sort of doing the camping gear and all that sort of stuff. Do you sell online? How does that work?
Yep. So I sell online on my website, Etsy, and I'm looking at doing Facebook.
What are they, by the way?
Plain Old Iron.
Plain Old Iron.
So my website's plainoldiron.com, and pretty sure my Etsy's that as well. I haven't been on there for a while. Be something like that.
You'll find it.
Yeah, I'll get back into it, because that's what I mean. I've had all my custom orders just taken over everything else. I haven't been building up stock for all that sort of stuff, because I've just been focused on other things.
Yeah, right.
So that's what I'm hoping to correct.
So tell me this: you're young, but I would call you an old school blacksmith. Interestingly enough, your skill set is much further along than I would expect for someone for like 32, and to be running a place like this is something you'd expect from a guy in his 50s. Like, so you are of a level far beyond where a lot would expect at your age. But tell me this: like, for someone who's not already well established in the industry like you, someone who hasn't got the notoriety and already got customers and all that, but they're having to really rely on social media and all that sort of stuff. Do you feel like it's different now for people to start now than it was maybe 10 years ago when you started?
No, and I think it's probably gone the other way.
Right.
Because I think when I first got into it, it wasn't, the community wasn't so prolific, and it was a bit before the Forged in Fire days. It was before the Game of Thrones even. It was before there was that resurgence of people understanding that this exists. So no, I think people, and to couple with that, I think people are starting to really appreciate things that have been laboured over. You know, something that's got a human element, someone that's come out and put energy and effort and time into making something beautiful. People are starting to expect to pay the right amount for that, you know? Whereas I found it quite hard early on to get an hourly rate that was respectable, because A, I didn't have the experience, so I wasn't making as nice of things. But B, it was really hard to get people to, you know, to get them on board with the idea that, you're going to pay a little bit more for something that is custom.
Of course.
It takes time.
And at the moment, well, not at the moment, but as time goes on, things get cheaper, being produced in factories and all that sort of stuff. But there is, like you say, people who are going to be able to pay, or are going to want to pay for something that's been handmade. But I suppose that's my point. If you're making things, and whether they're really great or whether they're just okay, there's got to be a certain amount of getting that out there when you haven't got a name already. You haven't got something. So do you feel that is different? Like that is something that you aren't having to push particularly? Or are you feel like you have to push it?
Well, we do. But one of the great things about this, and I think that it shows through because we do what we love, and all the guys that work here love doing what they do, that energy carries through to everybody that comes into the shop. So, you know, when we work with visiting artists, or when we work with students that are in
Alex
classes,
Steele.
when we have the Alex Steeles, as well, as rare as that is, and I'd love him to come back if you can convince him.
Well, I don't know the guy.
But, you know, there's an energy that you carry with you when you love what you do, and I think that can be infectious. And, you know, for us, that is self-propagating. So people come in, they get inspired, they take that home and they inspire other people, and then they become patient zero for this exciting groundswell. And that's something that we trade off as well, because we love being here, it's just really nice to be able to share that enthusiasm and energy. But
nice. So look, what I want to sort of do, the point of this video is really just trying to work out if this is still a viable option in today's modern age for the average person to become a full-time blacksmith. Now, I know you're not a qualified blacksmith, are you? But you trade as a blacksmith. Yes.
I'm not qualified. I believe you can still get a trade for it. I met someone at Matty Mewborn's workshop at Everly Works. He was an older fella, but he was an apprentice.
Oh, definitely can.
Yeah, I can't recall where he was from, but you definitely can still get trade qualified, and especially at Ultimo, you can do industrial blacksmithing. But yeah, I'm not qualified really in any means. I've done courses with Doug Mosley and Matt Mewborn, and I've just taken it from there. And I don't know. I can hit steel, makes it look like I'm qualified. If you don't know what you're doing, at least look like what you're doing.
No, but that's important, because I think it's that thing. You're not trying to convince anyone you're a qualified blacksmith. You're just a guy making stuff in your workshop in an old style, in an old manner. And no one's here trying to like suggest that you are or aren't. I'm trying to put together what it costs to sort of get into this for someone who's gone through college for 3 years. That's a big a big investment. Whereas for you, you've been able to go and do a course, and you start out on the small things, right? You start out on things you can do, then you build your skills. You don't go out and go, yeah, I'm going to start making railings the day you've done a 3-day course.
Yeah, the one thing that I always tell people when I go do demonstrations is there's still men in Africa that are hammering on rocks or little tiny stake anvils, and their forge is in the ground, and that's as much as you need. There's been guys that I've ran into. One guy in particular wanted a 300 kilo anvil to bend 16 mil bar. And no matter what I told him, he still wanted a 300 kilo anvil, and he just was set on it. But you don't need that sort of stuff, and if you want to do it, just do it. There's just nothing. There should be nothing holding you back.
Oh man, I started on a piece of mild steel that was like the size of a brick. That was literally it. It was a brick made of steel. No rebound. But you can definitely move stuff on it.
Oh, definitely. And this is a mild steel striking anvil. That moves steel fine. No rebound on it. It's terrible, but it gets things done.
Yeah, it gets things done, and you can grind it down. You're not worrying about losing the tempered surface. Nice. So, in today's age, social media is massive. Like, it's not like it was. You don't put an ad in the paper anymore saying I'm a blacksmith. Like, how do you get your name out there? You've got your website. You said you got your Etsy.
I advertise quite a bit on Facebook about what I'm doing, to the point where I've annoyed me mates about how many times I post on all different groups.
But your mates aren't really the people you're trying to sell to.
Oh no, I just mean more so of an example of just how many times you're posting this out there. So I sit down for about half an hour sharing to all different groups that I find that my particular post is applicable to. So with the gardening groups, I'm on, I don't know, 2 or 3 gardening groups. So when I'm asking questions about what people want to see next in a tool, or what they do or don't like in a particular tool, I'll associate that with those groups rather than, say, a mechanics page, because they have no idea.
And tell me a little bit about that. You're part of those pages, not just so you can sell your stuff. Do you get involved in the conversations, and do you...
Oh yeah, I have a bit of a green thumb myself, so I do enjoy doing gardening of my own. So I do post up my knowledge every now and then when someone asks a question. But for the most part, those people are my customers, and I want to keep them happy.
So how important do you think that is, not just trying to spam people with your information, but to actually be getting involved so you're part of the community as well, so that when they do think about buying stuff, they're coming to you?
Yeah, because I really believe in customer service. So with almost every post that I do, or any really comment that anyone gives me, I reply to it. My first post about some garden trails that I was intending on making blew up. It went out of proportion, and I had, by the end of it, there was about 500 comments on it. And I sat there for one night for 5-6 hours going through every single comment to reply to people, because I just believe you have to converse with your customers, and well, at that point they weren't even customers, they were just people asking me questions. And I really felt that just to be a nice person, I had to reply to them. They asked me something, so I have to reply.
Oh, man, I'm massive on that. You know, I'm big. I agree with that completely. If you're asking people to ever do anything for you and you can't even be bothered to reply to their comments, then what chance have you got?
Yeah, and I was just laying in bed at the time. It's not like I had to run 10Ks to answer someone's comments, so there was no...
there's no excuse. Yeah, good on you, man. I like that.
So, on a practical, like more pragmatic level, the best bit of advice that I can give to anyone starting a business, and it doesn't matter what field you're in, what you want to do, you got to love it and lean into it. Whatever it is, lean into it. Don't come in with the mindset of, oh, I've got a job, I'm going to cut back to 3 days and I'll work on this for 2 days a week, and I'll see if this builds, I'll cut back, because it won't.
Right, okay.
Lean into it and commit to it. That was the leap of faith that I took, and I think that was the difference in the success, was that I had a job that I was being paid well in, but I was restless in. And I made a specific decision to go, you know what, as of this date, I'm handing in my resignation, I'm selling this business, I'm going to start afresh in this, and you have to make it work. At that point, you're committed. Because if you think that you're going to have a foot in comfort and a foot in the great unknown, you're always going to default to the comfortable place. And as soon as things get tough, you go, oh, it didn't work out. And then you'll say, oh, it was because of circumstance, or it was because of timings or whatever. It's not because of those things. It's because you just didn't commit enough. And I know that's a really hard line thing to say, and for me it's worked, and there's every chance that it might not have. But I think...
But you'll never know that, because it did.
You won't
so
know.
You had to jump in to make that, see if that would work.
And to paraphrase everybody that's ever succeeded in business, they will all say that they've failed more times than ever, they've ever succeeded. All of the millionaires of the world will talk about how many times they had companies that fell over, went bankrupt, failed because they take the risks.
That's right.
And I don't want to push my, I'm not a particularly risk-averse person, but I don't want to push that ethos on everyone.
Of course,
but
on
I
other
think
people.
that makes the difference. Is when you have to make it work, you make it
You will.
work.
Okay. So, we don't want to go too deep into your financial situation and all that sort of stuff, but is this the sort of thing, like maybe if you're a single guy or something like that, is this the sort of thing you could sustain a family on your own, or is this really something where your wife needs to be working too? And how do you feel like, what sort of level, this is something you do because you love it and you make a bit of money out of it, but you're probably never going to get rich, right?
Well, I don't know. I think you could get rich, like a perfect example, and he's not entirely blacksmithing, but look at Alex Steele or someone like that. I reckon he'd be making some pretty decent money, but he's got the YouTube side of things, and he's making it work. But you look at all the other Aussie blacksmiths that we see around, I wouldn't say they make ends meet, but it's doable. I don't do this every day because I help the wife out with kids, and
Yeah, of course.
but I think it's most definitely possible. I just don't think you're not going to be a millionaire doing it.
But obviously, you said you spend time like helping the wife with the kids and looking after your kids and all that. That's often as important as the amount of money you're making, the flexibility. Like if you had a job where you were going to a workshop for 8 hours a day, 5 days a week, you wouldn't be able to do those things.
No.
You might make a bit more money.
To come home.
Yeah, that's right. So I get that entirely. And that's often for me is more important than the amount of money you're making.
Oh, yeah.
You own a house, you're clearly making ends meet. It's a totally a feasible action that you can be blacksmithing in our modern society and making enough of a living to keep paying your mortgage.
Oh, yeah, definitely, yeah.
But loving what you do.
Oh, cool. You got to do what you love. You can't just, I don't know. Towards the end of my military career, I was hating life, and it was just miserable. I couldn't wait to get out. Now that I'm out, I'm happy. I'm just no issues anymore, and it's just much better. Much better just coming out to do what I want, and just associate with people and just something new every day. That was a big thing for me. Was I was doing the same thing day in, day out, and it was just so monotonous. And I'm happy now. It's different every day. It's generally the same sort of thing in the workshop, but there's always a variety.
Okay, so then let's wrap it up a little bit with this. So do you think that this is something that people who, if they're really passionate, they've got the skill set and they're willing to continue to push their skill set and to learn more, it is actually a viable option for people to go, yep, I'm going to do that for a living. That's what I'm going to do as a job.
And there's plenty of guys out there that are doing that. Absolutely. Like there was a guy that went through TAFE with me, a little bit younger, lives in Tassie, Tague. He's supporting a family. He's running a small metalworking business. Well, I won't even say it's a small metalworking business. He's turning out some really lovely stuff. It's a successful business. And, he went through TAFE after me. He's been in the game less time than I have, making a good go of it. You've got Jason Allard. We saw him at the Sydney show. I don't know what his background was, but he came in here. He did our tool making class. He did a couple of classes here.
Oh, right. Jason started
I think he flew up and did a Damascus class with us. Yep. And now he's out there, and I'm super proud to know that I had some small impression.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, he started out here
because
at least.
He's making really great stuff, and that's something that swells me as a component of this business that's teaching.
Of course.
That's amazing. It's lovely to be able to pass something on and have, and he is the perfect example. Those guys are the perfect example of the guys that they had a sense that they loved it and they committed to it.
Yeah, they stepped in full. Yeah,
totally.
That's awesome, man. And it's got to be a thing. I think you're right. It has to be that if you're going to do something, you've got to go, no, I'm doing this, as opposed to I'll have a bit of a go and see what happens, because you'll always err towards caution. You'll always go back to, I know I can make money on this job, so I'll just do this for a few more weeks and then I'll get back on that again.
Yeah, and there's so many stories like that of, I'll make enough money and then I'll come back to this. And you just don't. You just don't get out of the cycle. You get addicted to the money. And I was woefully poor for ages. When I first started my blacksmithing business, you don't talk about it.
No, of course not.
I'm not saying that I'm flying around in money right now, but back when I started, it was hand to mouth. And there was times where, going down to the servo to buy gas to light my forge was something I thought about. I had to consider, when am I going to run my forge? Because it's going to cost me $30 to go down to Coles and do a swap and go.
Yeah, that's right. Can I do each one?
So divorced
that's full
from what
hand to
I'm doing
mouth,
now.
isn't it?
but it is like when you're thinking about stuff on that really micro level, it's
Matt, thank you very much for your time. Really appreciate that, buddy.
Toby,
Awesome.
Lovely to spend some time on those seats with you, mate.
Yeah, it's your place. It's dark in here now. I feel like it's some sort of dodgy movie going on.
Well, look, the sun left us, and we spent a bit longer than we thought having a yarn.
Just mind if we have a bit of a walkthrough and sort of show us the workshop and that sort of stuff?
Yeah, sure. She's in a bit of a pigsty, but yeah, she's not too bad. It's all right. You're not going to trip over anything.
No, awesome. Thanks very much, dude.
Happy days.
Cheers. Matt loves it. You get him on camera, he freaking goes mad for it. Introduce yourself, my man.
We live?
We're live.
Baby.
Go for it. Whichever one you want.
My name is Matt, and I get to be a blacksmith.
That clicking noise is going to be really, really annoying.